Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is Madden Football on EA Sports. We are moments away from what should be an excellent matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
There's a look at one of the most iconic sports venues in the lower 48, built back in 1957 under the title of City Stadium. We are at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And Charles, we look at this Packer team as we enter play here. They come in feeling good after back-to-back victories.
And this coaching staff has to be pleased with how their defense played last week. They held their opponents to 3 points, and that was it. If they get anything comparable to that performance, this one's in the bag.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, an early season tilt. And when it's an early season tilt, should be ready to roll.
Well, let's face it, the aches and pains haven't really set in yet. And both teams eyeing a really good start to get things going.
This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. So here comes the Packers offense now onto the field. They'll be led out by their highly decorated quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
And it felt like in watching the game tape, he got everyone involved last week.
He was a manager.
He really was. That's a great way to put it because they ran the ball some. They threw it accurately. 1 touchdown pass, so he didn't, break the bank doing that, but he didn't throw any interceptions. That's the bottom line. That's why a defense loves a quarterback like that. Doesn't put them in bad situations.
A bad start there. A big loss on their first play from scrimmage. It's second down. The numbers for Jones last week, 18 carries, 53 yards.
They've won 2 straight games, and they've done it with the running game as the focal point of their offense. So in this contest, I don't think about doing anything else. I continue.
And right away, he lost the football. And the Vikings pick up the football. And he's going to score. It's a Viking touchdown. It gives some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice. You're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there. Grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And that last possession, really a gut punch. You seemingly had it working. You were in the midst of a very strong drive. Then suddenly the fumble, and you're watching the back of a defender's jersey as he brings it all the way in the other direction.
There's not much more I can add to it.
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, the teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Now Jones. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. A gain of 13. It's a first down.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him, though. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for not much space to rumble.
Adams hauling it in from Rodgers. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. I think defensively you're okay with that. Here in the first quarter, he's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that and you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where Every series, they have to work hard to pick up first downs, and you tend to stall them out when you do that.
Rodgers on the money to the tight end, Graham. Past the 20. Good yardage after the catch as that played good for 30 and a first.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that?
Jones hit, and the ball's out. And now a fumble. The ball's out.
He wasn't ready. He wasn't
A call and luck. Skill, whatever the case is, they're feeling good about just keeping the football there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that they're calling it now, our ball. I mean, they don't care if it was luck or skill, but the panic that jumps up in your chest when that ball's on the ground, whether you get it or your teammate gets it, just as long as you retain possession, that's all you're looking for.
This will be a 2-yard loss on the play, and that'll lead here to a third down. 7th play of the drive now as they come up on a 3rd and 3. They'll try and run for it with Jones. He didn't get the touchdown, but he did get the first down as he's tackled at the 1. The gain of 5 that time gives him the conversion and makes it 1st and goal. They'll try and run. This is Williams. And he'll take this one in for a Packer touchdown. David Williams, his 3rd touchdown now on the year, as his guys are on the board here in this first quarter. And they're able to run it in. It started with a battle in the trenches. They won there, and they got in for 6 points.
And that's going to be a tough one for the defense to deal with. They've got to go to the bench now and figure out how are we going to slow down this running game, because on that particular play, they had no answer.
This will be fielded at the 6. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. They're led out by a man raised in Alabama, went to Florida State. It's their quarterback, Jameis Winston.
And it felt like in watching the game tape, he got everyone involved last week.
He was a manager.
He really was. That's a great way to put it, because they ran the ball some, they threw it accurately. 1 touchdown pass, so he didn't, break the bank doing that, but he didn't throw any interceptions. That's the bottom line. That's why a defense loves a quarterback like that. Doesn't put them in bad situations.
Jameis to throw it. Setting up the screen for Cook. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. It'll be a loss of 7 on the play, and it'll make this a 2nd and long. So they had the big loss on that first down pass play and facing a 2nd and long. And he's upended after a gain of 4 up to the 25-yard line. On play action, Winston. And he's able to find Diggs.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
And the key number on that play, 3. 3rd play of the drive, 3rd down, spectacular catch, turns into a first down.
First down saves him from a 3 and out. First down, here's the run with Cook. He'll get about 3 as he's brought down right around the 42. We'll take a look at the starters here defensively for the Packers. They were terrific a week ago in that victory over Tampa Bay, Charles.
Anytime you can hold a team to less than 10 points, your expectation of winning that game is sky high. In fact, you'd absolutely be stunned to come away with a loss.
Play action now. Winston escaping the pressure right. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact, no call, and it's 3rd down. And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. On 3rd down, Winston. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And he will be brought down, but he's got the interception on the final play of this first quarter. These two teams all tied after one. Now a first down carry by Jones. Solid running on the carry, but still brought down just inside the 40. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. From the 39, Rodgers. And he finds his tight end, Graham. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. 23 yards the pickup there.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything.
And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, Packers. Davante Adams. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Packers have taken the lead.
It's never fun for a defense to run on the field knowing that they're having to defend a short field. Just the idea of trying to limit an offense in that position, daunting for a defense.
Scoring summary, 3-play drive. And the result, a Green Bay score. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. That 7-0 lead of theirs short-lived as they've now given up 2 straight touchdowns to fall behind by 7.
Yeah, but no cause for discouragement here. Yeah, they've fallen behind, but haven't they proven that they can go down and score? So what was the formula that got them down there the first time? Get back to something close to that, and maybe they can get this game tied up.
Throwing on 2nd and 3. Winston. And this is Cook with a grab. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That one a gain of 20 and a first down. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
This is 3rd and 1. Very likely 4-down territory, even if they don't get it, though.
Check, 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 check. Switch it, switch it, switch it. Come on, switch it. Let him go.
Oh, they go with a tight end carry. And he's going to get this inside the 30. 12 yards there. First down, Vikings. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. That sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down. Play fake. Winston. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Dalvin Cook, his 5th touchdown now on the year, as they are an extra point away now from tying this football game. Well, he wasn't the guy they were initially going for, but after going through the progressions, it worked.
When you have plenty of people who can catch the football, you don't always have to go to your primary target, and sometimes that target is actually covered. Nice job coming off of that and getting it to someone who was open.
Yeah, the man out of the backfield gets in for the score. So the drive winds up going 75 yards in 7 plays. This one tied at 14 now as he sends this one away. And it's polished off by a Viking score. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And Charles, the way touchdowns have come so fast and furious for both sides in this thing, it's starting to feel a little bit more like maybe a tennis match in a football game.
Yeah, I like your description there. Maybe we're sitting in a nice royal box watching this type of a game. But let's face it, right now, the way it's going back and forth, it's going to come down to who can get a stop.
And running with power here. And they'll get the this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A big pickup of 38. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Second quarter, 2 minutes to go. Tie ball game. All right, coming up at intermission. Charles, you want to wait to enhance your Saturday?
I certainly do.
I've got just a thing for you. It's the coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll be alongside at half to take us through the weekend in the NFL. Jones has it. And they do get him down, but not before he's able to slip it inside the 5-yard line. A very nice pickup of 33 yards. They go play action here on 1st down. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Ben Gideon able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
Well, that was point counterpoint, wasn't it? They decided to throw for it on 1st and goal. Instead, the defense counters with pressure, and the defense wins, getting a big sack.
So 1st down went in the wrong direction. They're at the 13-yard line. Here's 2nd and goal. To throw, it's Rodgers. And that's complete to Adams. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. The Vikings going to signal for their first of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside.
I got you. Look again.
Rodgers now on 3rd and goal. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you'd better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks for those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
That drive took him inside the 10. Good job defensively to hold him to 3.
Yeah, I like how you did that. Give a little tip of the cap to the stop troops there because they didn't give up a touchdown in that situation, right? Made them kick the field goal. And, yeah, points went against them, but that feels a whole lot better running off the field.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. You're down 3 under a minute to go. How aggressive are you going to be in this spot?
Not as aggressive as I probably would want to be. Only down 3. I mean, it might as well be even going into the half. That's not a deficit that makes me want to push it and potentially make a mistake in this situation and cost myself even more points.
But, boy, getting into field goal range and tying it, that's tempting.
Awfully enticing. You almost talked me into it.
Winston now to throw on 1st down. And the Packers give him nowhere to go, and they bring him down. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the 1st half. And the job becomes twice as difficult now. After the sack, it's 2nd and 20. To throw is Winston. And a little floater there is incomplete. They don't get the hook up there, but you really have to marvel at how precise he's been throwing the football these last couple weeks.
Oh, that's a perfect word for it, precise, because if you're at 70% or better 2 weeks in a row, you have a job as long as you want one in this league, won't you? I mean, let's face it, it's not just West Coast offense either. He's putting the ball downfield as well.
Here's Winston. Open man is Thielen. It's complete. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. A pickup of 24 on the 3rd down conversion. 2 first downs have him up near midfield now on 1st and 10. From the gun, Winston. That one into the hands of Thielen, complete. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've been good. 3 for 4 thus far. They're looking at 3rd in the nose of the football. They go play action. Winston, flush to his right. Now he'll let it go. Looking for Diggs, and it's intercepted. Adrian Amos with a pick.
Let's go. Interception, baby.
Likely time for one final snap as they start out 1st and 10. They'll indeed try to run it out as they start on the ground. And he's going to lose yardage. Not that it matters as the final seconds tick away. And now a timeout defensively after that first down play. So they're going to make this offense sweat out half number one. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. So we're at halftime here at Lambeau with the Packers taking the lead to the break. As we'll send you down to Orlando, we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks. And welcome in everybody to our EA Sports Halftime Report. Time for a look around the NFL here in Week 3 of the new year.
And we will skip the highlight show this week. Get right back to this Week 3 matchup. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This will be taken in at the 1.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
A look at Jameis Winston now as he gears up to lead this offense again. And he's had some time to chew on that interception he threw on his last drive back in the first half.
Well, normally we say, come on, get him right back out on the field and play again, right? But as you mentioned, had the halftime, had to stew about it a little bit. Maybe he'll have a chance to relax a little and kind of laugh and chuckle and let it go.
He'll hope to respond positively here to start the third quarter.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the staff.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. They could not contain Kenny Clark as he gets home for the sack. Winston from the gun on 3rd down. He's going to float this over the middle deep, and that'll be incomplete. Well, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's 4th down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man-on-man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Number 12 back out there. Aaron and his Packer team. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical. Every now and then, though, they'll get after you if they think they need to light a fire. But in this case, let's go into the virtual locker room, because here's what I think happened. They got in there and they said, listen, let's take control right away. Defense, we got the lead. Defense, don't give up any points. Turn the ball back over to the offense and let them go down and score and give us more of a cushion in the game. Check so far. Defense shut them down. Let's see if the offense gets done. And that's what this defense is going to need to do more in the second half. Good pressure that time. Forces some indecision in the backfield. He's going to wind up being taken down for a nice loss.
On 3rd and long, it's Rodgers. He sets up the screen to Jones. And he'll lose yardage here, back to the 15. And a loss of 3 to bring up 4th. Well, you can see what they wanted to do. They wanted to set up the screen there, but it got blown up.
It's hard to run that play if you're not getting a lot of pressure at the quarterback because the space doesn't open up. They were able to read that one and slow it down and stop it before they could get a first down.
That'll be a 50-yard punt with 8 on the return. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10. Trying to fire up that running game with Dalvin Cook. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. And quickly, they get to the line. On 2nd and 7, Winston. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or two shy of the 40. A gain of 13. It's a first down.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
Adrian Amos up to make the tackle. On second down now. It's Cook, and he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
5 on the 50. 5 on the 50. Clean, triple T. 52, like 52. Watch the curl, watch the curl. Where's 52? Watch 52. 52's the mic. I can't believe 5 on the 50. 5 on the 50.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. Forced out to it, and a big loss here as he's taken down. Frank Clark gets to him for a gigantic loss of 19 yards. And no matter what the situation, the O-line just hates that because they feel like they didn't protect little brother back there, right?
Man, that's just so difficult for them because just think about every single play. When you decide to throw the football, you're dealing with some of the best athletes on the planet. You talk about guys, if they weren't playing football, they'd be starring in the NBA at power forward. It's a really difficult task.
It's a party now. It's a party now.
They'll try and get the running game going with Jones. He'll have a first down and more past the 20. That one 28 yards on the ground.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice because you're right, he struggled, especially that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
It's a gain of 12, and the Packers have the first. Throwing on first down is Rodgers. It's caught here by Adams. And he's taken down at the 50 after a short gain of 2. Trying to get one more in here before the quarter breaks. From midfield, here's Rodgers. Got an open man. It's Valdez-Scantling. He's going to be out of bounds on what's going to wind up being the final play of quarter number 3. Back now at Lambeau. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the fourth quarter. It's caught. Jones. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going. Rodgers now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10. Again, they'll throw with Rodgers. Caught on the right side by Adams. And he's going to be out of bounds down around the 35-yard line. 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. Rodgers with a give. It's Aaron Jones. And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play. And all of a sudden here, it's 3rd down.
Here we go. Here we go.
From the gun on 3rd down, Rodgers. He's got his man, Valdez-Scantling. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings' 24-yard line. Rodgers will bring him up to the line, 1st and 10. And he's hit on all 6 of his throws on this drive. Here's Rodgers. Completes it to Benjamin. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
And yet again, he stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Great job by this Vikings defense.
Now, obviously, that's some good work there defensively, being able to stop them and bring up a key 3rd down. But if you're on the offensive side of the ball, there's an opportunity, because I know what defensive guys are thinking right now. Just stop them, get to the ball. That means it might not be sound defensively. There could be some opportunities.
And you said key third down. Highlight that word. Put it in bold. Here we go. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. So 1st and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. Now Jones, and he'll go backwards, losing yardage to the 5. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
This is where coaches have to have spent a lot of time going over situations with their players, because him getting tackled there is not the worst thing in the world. You're going to run more plays, right? Clock's going to go. But his thought process is getting into the end zone. It's counterintuitive for him to actually go down in this spot.
Yeah, but like you said, you don't want to get in the end zone too early here.
No, not at all, because you may leave an opening that could come back and get you.
Can this Vikings D hold up one more time? 3rd and goal. To throw is Rodgers. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. So it's been a long drive. They've held the ball for quite a while. Now what do you do here?
Well, to me, at this stage, after this drive, this close to the goal line, 3 points would be a letdown. I'm going for it here.
And Bailey able to knock it through. And they stretch the lead to 6. It's 20-14 now. So they get to 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, they're a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now, because they'd feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. And out now come the Vikings. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. They run it again with Cook. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a one-score game. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They face a critical third down now, needing a score here in the late going. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. The first defensive back taken in this year's draft, Darnell Savage there to knock that one away. They were trying to erase that deficit in one play.
They certainly were, but how about the reaction time and the instincts back deep to force the incompletion? We might need to mark this one down. We may look back and say that was a game-saving play.
They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the Packers are going to get the football back in excellent field position. A little jet sweep to start the drive. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down. A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. Out of the shotgun, it's Jones. And he'll be upended at the 33 following a gain of 3. And guess what? It brings up third down. Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 1:06 left to go in the game. The chance of wasting this great starting field position, a real threat. This is 3rd and long. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This to make it a 2-score game. Bailey's kick is good, and that will make this a 9-point lead. So barring something extraordinary here in the closing stages, that field goal should just about put this one on ice.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to find 2 scores, so, we're not going to exactly move it over there yet. It can be done, but, boy, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch for them, isn't it?
Yeah, they would have to move incredibly quick and have some luck, too. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They might be thinking this is close to a lost cause here. Got to play it out. What do they need to do?
Well, they have a thought process in mind already, but they can't get ahead of themselves. They know that they need to score quickly.
Yep, two-score game.
Onside kick and get the ball back and then score again, but they can't worry about the last 2 points. The only thing that matters is scoring quickly, then they'll take it from there.
This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher third down looming.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
The Vikings on third down. They've converted 3 times in 8 chances. This is going to be 3rd and 13. Here's Winston. Packer pressure, and down he goes. Rashawn Gary in there to take him down, and the clock will roll.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush.
Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. Kenny Clark, and now possession will go over inside the 15-yard line. Rodgers will take a knee here, and that should be all she wrote.
Offside defense.
Well, we looked at each other right when he flinched. We knew that that flag was coming.
Yeah, offsides, easy call, mark off the 5, and keep it moving.
So it's all over. A Green Bay victory. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the second half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the second quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a second half. The adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the second half, and no points were allowed. That's a great way to close them out.
So for the Packers, it's an ideal start as they move to 3-0 now on the young season. And they'll get to stay home again next week. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they suffered defeat for the first time as they dropped to 2-1. And they'll get the extra week to think about this one as they return to action in 2 weeks' time. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew here at EA Sports, I'm Brandon Gaudin saying so long, everybody.